Hey guys, Team TapTap here with a video discussing the most recent patch to TapTap Heroes. This is patch 1.1.8, and in this patch we saw changes to almost every hero in the game, and we want to talk about if that will affect their overall power and rating on our tier list. But before we get to that, I'm going to let GitFront tell you about the most relevant changes for new players.
Hey everyone, if you're a new player right now, it's very possible to get a free 5-star, and this is what you have to do. Simply go to the top left corner of your screen and click your portrait. Once you do that, you'll see a register button. Click on it and then input your email and preferred password. After that's all set up, once you hit level 46, you'll be able to claim a free 5-star Amy. And for all new players, any 5-star is a good 5-star.
Alright guys, let's talk about the first hero that was changed, the Alliance hero, Lone Hero.
So Lone Hero's skill Fiery Blade had its damage reduced from 146% to 132%, but the armor reduction was increased from 24% to 32%.
Yeah, this I think was a good change for Lone Hero. This gives him a little bit more utility and loses some of that straight damage. But I think that's always good for an assassin to be able to do more than just damage.
We had originally ranked Lone Hero as a B plus hero, and I think we'll keep him at B plus. Up next, we have Olivia, and her main skill, Frost Nova, got a nerf to its stun chance. It was reduced from 24% to 20%.
Yeah, this is really bad for Olivia. I believe her stun chance didn't go off enough already, so for this to be lowered is just not good for her.
We had originally gave Olivia a D, and I think that she will stay at a D. Next hero we have is King LionHeart. His main skill, Earth Splitter, got a damage reduction from 120% to 108%, but his stun chance has increased from 25% to 30%.
This is actually good for Lionheart in my opinion because he already had the lowest attack in the game, so you weren't using him to do damage. The ability for him to stun the entire backline and up to a 30% is great, but really not enough to change his tier, right?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think we had him initially as a C plus tier, and to me, he's still a C plus tank in the game. Alright, so moving on, we have Tesla. Tesla, for his on-dev skill, Static Storm, the stun chance was increased from 28% to 34%.
Yeah, I think everyone can agree that Tesla's death ability was his worst. Like, if you're going to die, you should be getting a big boon to your team. And right now, at 20, what was it, 28%?
28%?
That was just not enough. And it was only to the back line as well. So this is a really good buff for him. If anything, it should be more.
Yeah, I agree definitely. And we had him as a B tier hero, but I don't think the buff was significant enough to change his tier.
Yeah.
And next we have Mulan. Mulan's main skill, Guillotine Gale, had its damage increased from 118% to 133%, but the bleed damage was reduced from 45% to 39%.
Because that bleed damage was only for mages, that's not that big of a deal for her. But the increase in attack damage on her Guillotine Gale is just good to see. I imagine Mulan getting more buffs in the future, as she seems to be an icon for the game, but is falling behind the other Wanderers.
Yeah, I mean she's very fast, and we have her right now as a C plus, but I think that she's still a C plus hero moving
Yeah,
forward.
yeah, she'll need more attack.
Yeah, exactly. And then we have Saw Machine. Saw Machine's skill interference mode has now increased his attack reduction ability from 8% to 12%.
Okay, Saw Machine is already an amazing hero, and this just gives him even more utility than what he had. Coming with this huge HP attack and all this utility and being able to counter clerics, there's just you can't get any more out of this guy, and they've gone ahead and made him even better.
Yeah, I mean this buff, I mean he's already an A plus tier hero, and this just continues to show why he's such a good hero.
Yep. All right,
All
moving
right.
on to Horde, right?
No, actually, the last one we have
Oh,
from Alliance is Ultima. And Ultima's skill, Stellar Destination, has its attack reduced from 120% to 108%, and the speed buff reduced from 33 to 30.
Stellar Detonation is not Ultima's greatest skill anyway. A lot of people I know use him, and it's mainly for his fourth skill. Celestial Opposition is amazing. Most people even put him as their frontline tank just to get this passive skill to go off. So this does means nothing. The speed was he already makes your team faster anyway. The damage you don't want from Ultima, so no big deal.
Yeah, nothing significant. He was listed as a B minus tier in our opinion, and I think that he will still be a B minus tier moving forward.
hmm
Up
Now
next
moving
now,
to Horde.
we have the Horde, and our first Horde is Eagle-Eyed Shaman. Eagle-Eyed Shaman's magic drain, which is where he steals attacks, has been reduced from 18% to 15%.
Yeah, it's not showing in the game, but they did mention this in the patch notes. Uh, Eagle Eye Shaman is terrible. That was his best skill was Magic Drain because it's actually kind of neat that he can drain attack. But yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was a nerf to Eagle-Eyed Shaman, but as already being one of the worst heroes in the game, we still feel like he's a D minus tier hero.
Yeah.
And then next we have Wolf Rider. Wolf Rider's main skill, Wolf Claw Sunder, which got its attack reduced from 120% to 108%, but the stun was increased from 27% to 34% against all backline enemies.
Yeah, this he got the LionHeart treatment, and this is the same thing. He didn't need attack. He has great armor. The stun is awesome. Um, what do you think about the tier, Fine?
I think I think that we had him as a C minus hero, and I don't think that the increase was enough to either move him up or the decrease was enough to move him down. So we just will leave him at C minus for now.
All right.
And next we have the mage Scarlet. Her death skill, Malefic, has the poison damage increased from 54% to 63%.
All right. So I have Scarlet. I use her. She's my best character or best hero right now. Um, this is great. Like for me, not for everyone else, but this is a good buff. This is a big buff for Scarlet because most of us that do have Scarlet are putting her as our tank, and we want her to die because this skill is so great. Um, this is what I was saying where Tesla's is so terrible because this is what I compare it to is Scarlet's. So
Yeah, and I mean the poison damage comes from the attack that she has, and I know most people who have Scarlet right now just make sure to try to pump up her attack with runes and
hmm
equipment and everything. So, yeah, this was a huge buff for her to do that extra damage. So we're moving her from B plus to A minus. And
nice.
now we have Abyss Lord. Abyss Lord got a buff to his skill Abyssal Blade. Its attack was increased from 250% to 280%. And also his other skill, Pitch Black Curse, the attacker's crit reduction was increased from 8% to 15%.
Yeah, that's great. A lot of Wanderers crit, so being able to nullify some of that damage is good. And also, uh, this heal is a lot. 280%, or this damage is 280%, and the heal is 250%. So that's really good. Those are two skills that don't stand out in Abyss Lord's kit. So when they get buffs and come in line with the rest of his kit, and what can you say? It's a good buff. I think a big enough buff for us to reconsider him being an average tank.
Yeah, we originally had him as a B minus tank, and I think he definitely deserves to be a B tank for sure now. We should start seeing him show up in a lot more teams. Alright, now transitioning into the Elven heroes, we have MegaW and his skill Forbidden Tome. It had an attack reduction from 18.6% to 15%.
Yeah, Forbidden Tome isn't really one of MegaW's most important skills, but one change that they did say is they nerfed his speed a little bit, putting MegaW as the slowest character in TapTap Heroes. And the reason that's a big deal for someone like MegaW is that he is a heal over time and damage over time character. So when when he goes last, those heals and damages are also coming in late and doing less than what they could do if they were early. So,
Yeah, I mean, overall, it is definitely a nerf given to
mhm.
MegaW, but I don't know if it was significant enough to drop him down to the D tier. I think we will still leave him at C minus where we
Yeah,
had
he
him.
still does good damage, and he's
Hmm.
the most probably jack of all trades hero. So
Yeah, and then next we have Werewolf, and Werewolf, to his fight and spirit ability, it now lasts until the whole fight is over.
yeah, previously I think it lasted for only 2 rounds where he stole energy and increased his skill damage by 30%. But now that this is for the entire match, this is great. Like 30% automatic skill damage to his already very high attack percentage skill is going to bring a lot more damage.
Yeah, and this is as Boom and B said, this is a significant increase for him, and we feel as though he has risen from a B minus tier to a B tier for sure. And up next we have Forest Healer. Forest Healer's Nature's Hymn skill got its attack reduced from 98.6% to 89%, and Healing Heart got its heal increased from 57.1% to 64%.
Yeah, I mean, more healing, less damage. You don't bring Forest Healer for the damage anyway, so this is actually a buff.
Yeah, and Forest Healer is already known as one of the top healers in the game, so his A tier, he definitely has just solidified it.
Hmm.
And we have now moving on Orphee. And Orphee's main skill, Starstorm, got an attack increase from 160% to 178%. And the stun is increased from 60% to 72%.
Yeah, Starstorm, this is a big buff to the percentage number. It's like almost what was it, 18%?
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's one of the bigger numbers we've seen in this patch. And the stun also got buffed, but it is only to warriors and it's in the back line. Frank brought up earlier that this probably only matters to Nameless King. Um, Forgive me if there's some other backline warrior I don't know about, but um, yeah, it's a good buff. That's about it.
yeah, yeah. I think overall, as Boom and B said, it's a good buff, but because not that many warriors are normally in the back line, I don't see it being super effective moving forward. So we had her at a B minus, and I think Orphee is still a B minus tier hero.
Hmm.
And now, last but not least, in the Elven heroes is Grand. And Grand's Leech Seed has its attack increase from 110.4% to 124%. And his armor steal got reduced from 28% to 24%.
I'm gonna have to go with a nerf for Grand on this. The armor steal was really unique and strong ability. The more percentage he's taking from some other frontline tanks could really make a big difference in how tanky he is.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you too. And we have him at a C. I don't know if the nerf was significant enough to drop him to a C minus, but I still
Yeah,
think he's about a C grade
yeah, I
hero.
agree. Good tank. Maybe he'll
All
move
right.
up if we see more of him, but for now, see.
Yeah, for sure. And now we move to the undead heroes. And the
All
first one
right,
we have is Gerald. And Gerald's passive skill,
Berserker.
Berserker, has armor break increase from 30% to 32%.
Yeah, this is nothing. It's tiny little buff, just small numbers.
Yeah, no change to Gerald at all. He's a B tier hero. Um, and now we have the healer cleric Forren, who had his Frostblast skill damage increase from 112% to 126%, but his chance of freeze reduced from 40 to 34%.
Yeah, the freeze chance is unfortunate. This is very similar to MegaW, where Foreign does just about everything. CC, heal, good damage. Um, this doesn't change my thoughts on Foreign. Still a good hero if you're starting out.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's still a C plus tier hero. Um, Next, we have the other cleric in the undead group, which is Hester. And her skill Soul Pulse got its damage reduced from 184% to 163%. But her chance to petrify was increased from 30% to 36%.
Yeah, that Petrify buff is nice, but it's only 6%. We're looking at a really big nerf on her damage on Soul Pulse because that 180 to 163, that's taking from her total attack damage. And Hester has the highest attack stat in the game. So when you're taking a percentage of that off, that's gonna seriously affect what damage she used to do compared to now.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I think she is still the highest attack by far in the
Hmm.
game, but this definitely did hurt her a little bit on the tier list, and we dropped her from a B plus to a B.
Yep.
Last but not least, we have Wolnir, and it was for his main skill, the Power of Hades. His damage was reduced from 126.6% to 114%.
Yeah, this is nothing. He didn't do damage. If it had affected some of his healing to himself, then I would have considered this more as a change to Wolnir, but this is nothing.
Yeah, I mean, the heal is still based off the attack stat,
Yeah.
and it wasn't a large significant drop for him. I think he's still A minus tier. He's still one of the go-to tanks, premier tanks right now out.
Yeah, agreed.
And now finally we have the Nameless King, the Heaven Hero. His Lightning Storm skill got its damage over time reduced from 40% to 32%. And his Sign of the Sun got its damage over time reduced from 17.5% to 13.5%.
Yeah, these are actually pretty big nerfs. This is I know if you've ever been in the den and you get hit by Nameless King, you don't always die on the first hit. It's that damage over time that really makes him annoying to fight against.
Still S tier. I mean, if you get him and you get a copy of him, that's amazing.
Yeah, this nerf does not bother you whatsoever. Really appreciate you guys watching this. For all of you that are really interested in the meta and all that, these videos are probably interesting to you. And we'll do a series basically for every new patch that comes out. We'll have one of these where we go over all the changes. So if you're interested in that, please subscribe and follow us.
Alright, guys, thanks for watching, and this is Team TapTap signing off.
Peace.